You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello, we are Enterprise-splaining, the podcast where we explain Star Trek Enterprise to each other and to you. I'm Maria, and these are my co-hosts, Bill.
Hiya!
And Jamie.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking about the Star Trek Enterprise episode Stigma. However, I'm the only person here who has actually watched it, so it's my job to explain to my co-hosts what happened on the episode. But first, a little bit of pod business. Just a reminder that you can get fabulous Enterprise-splaining merch. Yes, we have merch now. We have Enterprise-splaining t-shirts. We have Enterprise-splaining Porthos Appreciation Society t-shirts. We have, well, that's about all we have. But still, once you have gotten Enterprise-splaining shirts for you and all your loved ones, you can also consider merch from some of our other wonderful sister podcasts on the ESO Network. So just go to esonetwork.com and click on the TeePublic link in the top menu. Computer, tell us about the episode we are talking about this week.
Stigma. Enterprise visits a planet where an interspecies medical exchange conference is being held. Dr. Phlox tries to obtain research on a terminal disease from the Vulcan contingency without revealing T'Pol has been infected by it.
And now it's time for Two Truths and a Lie. I am going to tell you 2 truths and a lie about this episode, and you guys get to guess which is the lie. Number 1, Travis gets injured throwing melons over space cows.
Sure, why not?
Amazing.
I don't know at this point, sure. Travis is always getting injured. If he's getting injured, he's probably going to get injured again. He's always getting injured.
Travis gets throwing... That's too weird. That's too weird for you to make up. Okay.
Yeah.
Malcolm and Phlox get into an altercation because Malcolm hits on one of Phlox's wives.
Okay, I really hope we get to meet Phlox's wife.
Okay. Okay.
And
All
I
right.
could definitely see Malcolm doing something like that.
Okay.
And number 3, Archer makes a promise to Paul and keeps his word.
Oh, boy. Okay.
That feels
Here's the
unlikely,
thing.
But I definitely feel like you put
Here's
that in
why.
there.
Here's why I think number 2 is the lie, is because Phlox is too chill.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think number 2 is a lie because I don't think Phlox... I mean, his wives have other husbands.
Yeah, no, he would be like, no, that's... I'm curious to hear about... What was this? Sorry, can you repeat number 1? Travis gets in trouble by throwing melons over space cows?
That is correct. Travis gets injured throwing melons over space.
Travis gets injured. Okay. No, two is the lie.
I agree. Number 2 is a lie.
Okay, while you ponder what this week's lie may be, let's hear a bit more from one of our sister podcasts on the ESO Network.
Hello and welcome to your special delivery of the Cosmic Pizza podcast. I am Casey from the UK.
Dan in the UK. Finger on the pulse. That's this show. That's definitely what we're all about.
All in the UK. I don't eat mashed potato. It's horrible stuff.
I'm in Canada. First world problems. It's the only kind I have.
How are you doing, Paul?
And all 7 of our listeners want to know.
I'm pretty sure most of them are here. And we are here to serve you a delicious slice of life.
The Cosmic Pizza podcast is not about the cosmos, all about pizza.
We open on a cave.
Okay, we open in sickbay. Phlox is looking into a microscope. He says, quote, "Your neurolytic enzymes are considerably higher than last month."
Neurolytic enzymes? Okay.
Neurolytic
Okay,
enzymes. We pan over to see T'Pol coming out from behind a screen fastening her collar. She asks if the treatment is no longer effective, and Phlox says that he warned her it was just a matter of time before they would need supplemental medication.
Oh, shit.
He says the conference is a perfect opportunity. Some of Vulcan's finest physicians will be there, and it's essential that Phlox speak with them. T'Pol says it's too great a risk and that she'd be taken off of Enterprise. But Phlox says that he thinks he can question them without revealing that T'Pol is infected.
There's no way he can't, like, she's, okay. I can take a guess at, because we know that this episode is the follow-up episode to, the one with the really creepy guy, the creepy
Yeah, I
Vulcan
can't remember the name
guy.
of it now.
Oh, I remember.
Jazz
I remember the name of the
T'Pol.
episode. Yeah,
Yeah, Jazz
I don't remember the
T'Pol.
name of the episode.
We're so bad at podcasting, you guys.
We're
Well,
so
the
bad
episode
at
names are not evocative. They're typically like one word, like Stigma and Dawn. Like, if you told me, like, tell me what the episode Dawn is about. I don't know. It's about a person named Dawn.
Yeah, so the Jazz T'Pol episode. We know that this is a follow-up, and now I'm worried she got some sort of, like, because the whole thing was he, like, mind raped her? Did she get, like, the equivalent of, like, a mind rape STI? Like, I don't... But then,
that's where you're going. Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm going, that somehow there was, like... Because we know it's a follow-up to that episode. But then, again, regardless of what's going on, if Phlox is at this conference asking about this very specific situation, people are going to know it's a situation relating to the one Vulcan that's on his ship. Why would he be interested in just like some random Vulcan thing or know about it unless the one Vulcan that's in his care had that disease or whatever?
No, I have a prediction. My prediction is this is the Ponfar episode.
Oh no. Now I'm terrified. After we got that 2 truths and a lie,
Oh, God.
with the Ponfar, with naked Phlox in decon chamber that we got from Chris from First Flight Pod. I am now, Bill, you've now scared me. I'm very worried.
Well, T'Pol once again tells Phlox it's too great of a risk, but Phlox says that they don't have a choice. Without further treatment, she could die.
Yep.
T'Pol looks concerned, and theme song, which means, Jamie, it's time for your Diane Warren update of the week.
So I have 2 stories this week where Diane Warren sort of like come up in the news a little bit. The first is from Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was doing a press tour for the movie Freakier Friday. And during this press tour, there's this like IMDb interview thing where she's being interviewed by Jamie Lee Curtis for some reason. My namesake.
Well, she's in the movie.
Yeah, but why are they like interviewing each other? That's weird. I don't know.
Just a thing.
But during that, Lindsay Lohan revealed that she has a tattoo on her hand that says, "I leave before being left. I decide," which is a lyric from the Diane Warren song I Decide that Lindsay Lohan recorded for the 2004 movie Princess Diaries 2, The Royal Engagement.
Amazing.
The quote from Lindsay Lohan says, "I was working with Diane Warren and we were doing the song and we loved it. She was like, I think I might submit it for that movie coming out. I think I was doing so much at the time because when I was recording that song, I also think I was doing Herbie Fully Loaded. I was recording an album in my trailer on set while filming. Years later, I forgot it was in the movie and my sister's like, your song's in that movie." That's the quote. It barely makes sense, but it's there. That's the quote. The second celebrity that kind of mentioned Diane Warren or a Diane Warren song recently was LeAnn Rimes. LeAnn Rimes posted a recent video of her on Instagram performing the Diane Warren song Can't Fight the Moonlight. And while she is performing the song, her teeth are falling out. Like she has a bridge in the front, and apparently it sort of popped off while she was in middle of this performance, but she is a goddamn professional and apparently held her teeth in while finishing singing the song.
Wow.
Is that the song from Coyote Ugly?
Can't Fight the Moonlight? I don't know.
Oh my god, that movie is insane. Sorry. Like
insaner than her teeth falling out while she was singing?
More insane. At one point, she finds out her boyfriend has a deep dark secret, and eventually it's revealed his deep dark secret is he's adopted. That movie is out of its fucking mind.
You are right, Bill. It is the theme song to the film Coyote Ugly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyways,
this woman has been such a part of my life without me realizing it.
Anyway, so yeah, apparently Leanne Rimes' teeth fell out while she was singing it recently. But she was
not
cool
awesome
about
that she did it, but awesome that she dealt with it.
Yeah, and she apparently thought this was so funny that she took the clip of this happening and put it on her Instagram and was like, "You guys, my teeth were falling out while I was recording this." Yeah,
Fantastic.
so I love that. As somebody who last year I was flossing and suddenly like a tooth fell off, it is horrifying. It was a crown. I had a crown and I didn't know I had a crown because I got it put in when I was a child.
We know a lot about teeth. That was weird.
And it fell off and it was horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I really felt for her. I was like, I was just in my bathroom when it happened and it was terrifying. If I had been on a stage, I would not have been able to finish the song.
Amazing.
Anyways, that's it. That is this week's Diane Warren Update of the Week.
Thank you, Jamie. So now the theme song is complete, we can get into the episode. We open on a shuttle docking on Enterprise as it orbits a planet. In a starlog, Archer explains that they're at an interspecies medical conference and are going to be picking up a neutron microscope. But, more importantly, they're going to meet one of Phlox's wives.
Yay!
Cannot wait.
Phlox is walking through the ship with Trip, Malcolm, and Archer and telling them that he hasn't seen his wife for almost 4 years.
Wow.
They get to a shuttle hatch which opens and a female Denobulan steps out. Phlox says, "Welcome, my beloved." And she replies, "My beloved."
What does she look like?
Well, she's like a kind of a blonde woman, Phlox's age, but there's nothing like super different in terms of the female versus the male species or anything. They put their faces closer together, not quite touching, and they hold their hands up by each other's cheeks and wave them like they're wafting in the smell of each other.
I love that. That seems cool.
And then they sniff and they snort a little. Archer looks perplexed and Trip looks away awkwardly.
This doesn't seem that crazy. Like, of course, a lot of aliens are maybe going to have more, like, sense stuff. I mean, we see this with other animals all the time.
Well, part of that is, like, if I was with my friend and he came upon his partner they like, kissed or did whatever they did, I might look away. I might give them a moment of privacy.
Okay, yeah, that I can see.
Well, that was what it sort of was, but it was also, like, clearly, like, they were like, what the fuck?
Oh, God, they're so rude.
Phlox's wife is being played by Melinda Page Hamilton, who you will recognize, I think, if you see her. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Right.
So, after they finish the sniffing, Phlox introduces his wife to Archer and Trip. Her name is Feasel. She greets them and...
She goes west.
Yes.
She tells Trip that she is looking forward to helping him install the microscope. And Archer says that can... You don't know how right you are, Bill.
Oh, no.
Archer says that can wait. He's sure that Phlox and Feasel want to catch up, but Phlox says it's fine. They've waited this long, another hour or even another day wouldn't be a big deal. Which I still do not understand, having watched this episode multiple times, because they still have a limited amount of time together.
Yeah, like, aren't they just at this conference?
Well,
yeah.
How long is the conference?
They've talked about...
A few days.
I think they mentioned that Denobulans are very long-lived.
And I didn't say it earlier, but he did say a couple of times Denobulans are very patient. Anyway, Archer suggests that they have lunch while the microscope is being unloaded. Archer, Phlox, and Feasel start to walk away, but Feasel stops and turns back to Trip and asks if he's going to be joining them. But he can't. He has to supervise the unloading of the equipment, but he says he'll see her after lunch when they go to install the microscope. Feasel looks very happy about this. She smiles and leaves with the others.
Okay. We're gonna get some Phlox Trip sister brothers, maybe. What is
Eskimo brothers?
Eskimo brothers.
Brother husbands. No, because like if he marries her.
Okay.
Jamie is writing a reality series in her head, but I would watch it.
In this weird, like, Phlox and his weird family where they're all straight and
they're straight polycule.
Yeah, they're straight polycule. It it is confusing to me.
Yeah. Anyway, in the next scene, we're down on the planet at the medical convention, and Phlox is walking into a conference room with 3 Vulcan doctors.
The bartender says, "Hey."
Do you guys remember the scene in Ghostbusters where they take down their very first ghost at the hotel? And there's a prissy manager with the little handkerchief.
Yep. Yeah, uh-huh.
Is it him?
It's the main Vulcan doctor is that guy.
Oh my. What great casting.
And his name is actually Michael Ensign, which is interesting.
Wait, that's really weird.
Oh, that's great.
I didn't recognize the other 2 right away, but they're character actors and they looked familiar to me, so you may recognize them in other things. I didn't see anything that I knew them from. Mm-hmm. But they are asking Phlox the question that Jamie asks, which is, why is a Denobulan interested in Panar syndrome, which is a Vulcan-only disease? Phlox says that a colleague on Denobula is studying the disease because it's very similar to a Denobulan disease, so he's asking on his colleague's behalf. One of the Vulcans explains that they're very hesitant to talk about the disease because it's unique to a subculture of their population, a very small percentage whose behavior is neither tolerated nor sanctioned by the Vulcans.
Okay, maybe it's...
Oh, yeah, so maybe I was right.
Maybe it's the emotional... I forget what they call... They had a specific term for
Yeah,
it.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the...
People who reject logic.
Yeah, or it was from... Because it wouldn't make sense for her to get a disease from just not doing her meditation for one night. But maybe it has something to do with the mind meld. Can they get a disease? Maybe because the other guy never does his meditations and then she mind melded with him?
Maybe.
So Phlox says that his colleague is aware of that, but the disease that he is studying occurs in all strata of Denobulan society, and he's desperate to find a cure. The Vulcans are still very hesitant and ask for some literature on the Denobulan disease, but Phlox explains that he doesn't have any of that literature on Enterprise because it's all humans on Enterprise, and calling his colleague would take 5 days, by which time the Vulcans will be gone.
This is so nice of him to do. Like, it's weird. I don't understand why the Vulcans who are super rational get like all weird and... I guess the episode Stigma, like,
right, yeah.
that have like weird shame stuff around some diseases. But I love that Phlox is like trying to figure out a way to get this information and protect T'Pol's privacy. That's nice of him. I like Phlox.
One day this Federation is going to invent some kind of privacy law.
So the Vulcans still look grumpy and suspicious. They say they need to confer and they will get back to him. And Phlox very graciously thanks them for their time and leaves.
They all walk away. It's T'Pol, right? He's totally T'Pol. Oh yeah, he's totally T'Pol.
Back on Enterprise, Feasel is helping Trip install the microscope. But Trip is confused and has many technical questions.
Trip is always confused.
She answers his question and corrects a technical thing that he had wrong and explains that this is all very clearly detailed in the instructions. Read the fucking manual, Trip, she says.
I don't have the Allen wrench. What is this one stick figure doing holding up this part? There's only 3 screws in here. I don't know what to do.
Trip says that the instructions are not clear at all. He says, quote, I don't want to brag, and then brags about how he can take apart and put together any piece of equipment, and that's why he was selected to be on Enterprise in the first place.
That's why they send me I Am Best.
I'm pretty sure the reason he's on Enterprise is just because he was buddies with Archer.
He was buddies with Archer.
Nepo baby.
Yeah.
There's no way Trip is like somehow the best engineer that all of Starfleet has to offer.
All the headcanon we've built on this show aside, he is the chief engineer of the most advanced prototype ship that the human race has produced.
And honestly, what he's actually saying is not that he's the best engineer. He's just saying he's really good at figuring shit out, like taking apart and putting back together anything, you know. Feasel, however, looks just absolutely delighted at everything he's saying. She is fully appreciating his golden retriever energy and just treating him like he is a very smart boy. He says he's very good at following instructions, but he can't read Denobulan because all the instructions are in Denobulan. So she says she understands, and that's why she's there, and so she starts to explain what he has to do again. They do a lot of looking at each other across a microscope and her leaning past him and being way too close. The music starts to get weirdly sexier. really sort of unexpectedly.
Okay, wait, he's trying to like put a microscope together?
Oh yeah.
This is a microscope? This is a microscope, like a normal microscope.
It's like some sort of special quantum.
It's a space future microscope.
Future microscope. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Was she? Is she?
It's
not,
complicated,
is she
Jamie.
Is she also a medical person? Is that why she's at this medical conference, or is she just because Phlox was going to be near and she just decided to drop off this space microscope?
It's unclear.
She may not be a doctor, but she's like a technician. Like
that's what it seemed.
Like, for lack of a better term, Topher. Imagine Topher in this situation where he is, a medical professional, but he is an engineer and is describing, like, here's how this device works.
Yes, friend of the pod, Topher, who you guys can listen to on our episode.
One Night in Sick Bay
episode.
A Night in Sick Bay, yeah.
Can't believe we did that to Topher. So the music starts to get sexier. She hands him a metal rod and their hands meet. And she looks up dreamily at him. And Trip smiles sort of uncomfortably.
Why does this seem sexier than Precious Cargo?
Well, probably a better actress. Step one.
Trip says, "You're going to have to help me with this one." And she tells him, and I am not shitting you guys, she tells him, "Insert the thick end into this opening."
Oh my God.
Yes, I am here for this.
So he does insert the thick end into the opening. Some things beep. Trip is looking at the rod and she says, and once again, I am not shitting you, "You can pull it out now."
Wow. Okay. All right. This is exciting.
She is standing right up close to him. They're not quite touching, but Trip is clearly getting more and more uncomfortable. He says he thinks he's getting the hang of it, and he suggests that she tell him the next couple of steps and that he can do them on his own. And he kind of moves away from her.
Amazing. You're going to need to find the control nub and rotate it furiously.
It's giving, what's her name? Troy's mom.
Oh, Lasana?
Yeah, it's giving Lasana.
I can see that.
Like, aggressive sexiness from a woman. Star Trek hates that. They always have to play it for laughs.
Well,
against a guy who is uncomfortable.
Yeah, you haven't watched a lot of
very
original series. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, Feasel calls him a very competent young man, and Trip immediately goes back into happy golden retriever mode. She almost literally called him a good boy.
I love this. I love this. I'm sure this episode is going to disappoint me, but I'm loving this right now.
So she smiles and she leans up close to him again to get her device across from him. And
yes, she does.
She starts pushing buttons and tells him that he has to come closer to see what she's doing. And he's still kind of grinning, but awkwardly, and he moves closer. Trip is playing this kind of interesting here. He is clearly uncomfortable, but also clearly flattered and, like, he kind of gets what's going on, and he's kind of into it, but he's really nervous. Like, he's also very awkward about it.
I like that. Instead of him just being like, ew, this is...
Yeah, no, he's not
an aggressively
at all.
sexual woman. He's more just like... It's probably like he just feels uncomfortable because this is like Phlox's
wife. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
And he's probably just not quite sure what the situation is.
Also, it's not a 22-year-old girl who's never encountered another actual human being before on the spaceship filled with holograms that she grew up on.
Okay, in the next scene, T'Pol and Archer are having breakfast in his quarters.
Trip walks in, his hair is completely blown out, and he's like staggering.
Archer is in a great mood.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah. He asks if she's spoken to Phlox since he went to the planet, and T'Pol, being the lying liar who lies, says she didn't even know he was gone.
God, I fucking love Vulcans lying all
She's
the
such
time.
a liar.
One of the many things I enjoy about doing this podcast is the way our alliances turn on a dime depending on who we're talking about. It's like, well, T'Pol is completely right in this situation. That this racist.
Oh, just you wait.
I love it when T'Pol just lies. Like, Vulcans, it's so hard for Vulcans to lie, you guys. It's so hard for them to lie.
She does it so much. So she's clearly uncomfortable, but Archer, per his habit, is oblivious. He keeps chatting about Phlox and how excited Phlox was to go down to the conference and how he brought back a wish list of medical items. And they make a little bit more small talk. And then Archer...
Phlox wanted medical items?
Yeah, he did. Or medical equipment, maybe. I don't know.
Or
weird. Okay, that's the lie. I'm sorry. This is the lie
That's
of
the lie?
Maria has a secret lie hidden in the episode.
So they make a little bit more small talk, and Archer says that he heard that there's a Vulcan contingent at the conference and suggests that T'Pol go down for a visit, which, is that racist? Yes, it is. Archer, because he just doubles down on it. Archer says she might know one of them, and she points out that there are...
That's okay. That's the bad part, but like,
yeah. No, I was like, I mean, is that? But
if I had not seen any humans in like a year and a half, or like barely any humans, I might want it. Like, if I heard there were humans, maybe I would want to go hang out with them. But like,
but T'Pol,
I don't know.
You might. The problematic part is you might know one of them.
Yeah, you might know them.
Yeah, Archer says she might know one of them, and she points out that there are over 1 million doctors on Vulcan. Archer just shrugs and says that he figured she'd like to spend some time with her own species.
In fairness to Archer, she's around humans who are assholes.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you want to get away from us.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you know them. Like, come on, Archer.
Yeah, but then you know him as that one. It was a little close to home.
Then again, T'Pol's vibe is she's aggressively trying to get away from Vulcans and specifically her fiance. So she does not.
Yeah, but Maria, being someone whose family is from India, I have a coworker who is Indian. Do you maybe know him?
My favorite response to that is, yes, that motherfucker owes me $50. Before T'Pol can reply to all of this, the comms beeps, and someone tells Archer that a contingent of Vulcans from the conference are currently docking with Enterprise. And they would like to see Archer, Phlox, and T'Pol.
Everyone at the conference told the Vulcans, hey, there's a Vulcan on the ship. Maybe you know her. Oh, let's go check
let's check that shit out. Archer acknowledges the request and tells T'Pol that it's great news. She doesn't have to go anywhere. The Vulcans are coming up to see her.
I would like this show 100% more if it was our read of this, and they're just literally just fucking with each other. They're not oblivious. They're just fuck you. Well, guess what? Good news.
I feel like it's like drunk history, but for Enterprise. Like someone takes our one of our transcripts and acts it out.
This kind of is drunk history, but for Enterprise. It's sort of what we are doing.
Can you create puppet versions of all the Enterprise crew and we just create supercuts?
Oh my god. Okay. As they walk towards the docking bay, Archer asks if she has any idea what the Vulcans want. She says she hasn't spoken to anyone on the surface, which is not a lie, but also not an answer to the question. But Archer doesn't pick up on it. Phlox, T'Pol, and Archer settle the 3 doctors in a conference room. Archer offers them food, saying Chef has become good at making plomic soup because of T'Pol.
Oh, sure.
They decline, saying they've come to speak to the doctor. Archer says sure, and he and T'Pol start to leave, but the head Vulcan doctor, whose name is Arat, asks T'Pol to stay. Archer looks curious, but he agrees and he leaves.
Good. I'm glad.
I was really hoping that T'Pol would enter wearing her robes with that big book, we have judged you and found you guilty.
Arat tells Phlox that they are denying his request. Phlox asks why T'Pol is even there. She didn't even know about the request. And one of the other doctors asks how come he was studying a Vulcan disease and didn't consult his Vulcan science officer.
She's not a doctor.
Yeah, she's not a doctor. Like, he
Which is
might
what
have,
Phlox says.
presumably he did consult her. Like, under the Phlox lie. You'd be like, obviously he would have consulted her, but she wouldn't have, especially if they said this is like a rare disease that only like a niche, like, obviously she wouldn't have the information. I mean, we know she actually has whatever this thing is and still doesn't have the information. That's why he has to go ask them. So like, there's no world in which she would have had all the information that he needs.
Phlox is like,
right, no, but what they're saying is how come she didn't know anything about it? Did he not even talk to her about it? But yeah, he basically says Phlox stays super chill, and he just says that he didn't think T'Pol had any medical expertise, and so he didn't talk to her about it.
It's a major breakthrough in taking the sticks out of your ass.
Arat then asks T'Pol if she is familiar with Panar syndrome and if she can describe the symptoms. She's all, okay, but y'all are the actual doctors here. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But he insists, so she explains that it is an incurable degradation. Oh, you are going to hate so much of this, Jamie.
Yeah, I hate this.
She explains that it's an incurable degradation of the synaptic pathways which affect the endocrine and immune systems. They ask her how the disease is transmitted, and she explains that it's transmitted through a telepathic practice.
Oh,
they ask her what that practice is, and she says mind meld, which cause a disruption of neuroelectric impulses in the midbrain, which can lead to the early stages of the syndrome.
Wait, does this mean that does this mean Spock was raw dogging Kirk throughout the series?
Yeah, we've seen so many Vulcans do mind meld in the future, but it was weird this time because when they did the mind meld, like, she had never even heard of it, which again is actually weird here because they ask her how, and she goes, mind meld. But until the guy did the mind meld with her, she had never even heard of mind meld. So I see how that would make them suspicious, but also this is like,
all right,
really weird.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes.
I don't like the way they're like clearly suspicious and won't just come out and ask her. Instead, they're just like sending her down this path. Like, I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah.
It feels very uncomfortable. They're like, we know something about you and we're just going to talk around it and make sure that you know that we know so that you know that we know that you know, like, it's just, I hate it. I hate it. Wait, is Phlox still there this whole time? They haven't like sent Phlox away. Okay, Phlox is still there.
Nope, they're all in a conference room. The only person who isn't there is Archer.
Okay.
It's the three Vulcan scientists and Phlox and T'Pol. So the three Vulcans ask her, the next question is if she condones mind melds. And she gets up and asks them why she was asked to be there in the first place. Phlox agrees, saying that their questions are inappropriate. Arat says they can't help but notice that Phlox is asking for treatment for Panar syndrome, and there happens to be a Vulcan on board. They ask if she had anything to do with the request. And Phlox jumps in and says he's already explained that and asks what they're implying.
Yeah, I hate this. Like, even if you're these Vulcans, you get it, right? Like, you're like, kind of seems like it's this Vulcan. But, like, the right thing to do would be to just give the information. Like, why bring her in this room just to shame her about it?
Well,
but
Vulcans...
Jamie, when in Enterprise do Vulcans do the right thing to do? This is Enterprise, not another Star Trek.
Vulcans are such assholes, even to other Vulcans.
Dicks. Yeah. And they're such dicks to T'Pol. Anyway, one of the doctors hands T'Pol a pad and asks if she's familiar with any of the names on it. She takes it and looks at it and says no and asks who they are. The doctor tells her that they're melders, Vulcans who can meld with each other.
Melders, sorry, that's a really funny term.
Yeah. He asks if she knows any melders. And
sorry, I don't know why that term is really funny.
My best friend's a melder. Paul says yes, she's met a number of them, but does not know any well. The Vulcan again asks if she condones their behavior. She says she does not see what the question has to do with the doctor's request. And Arat says that they find the behavior unacceptable, and since it's transmitted by those people, its cure is not a priority. Phlox asks if that means they're...
They are such dicks. Like, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
This is getting into the late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah,
you got an STD.
HIV.
You deserved it because you weren't fucking. You should have been in a monogamous, heteronormative relationship. Okay.
I hate this.
Yep. No, I hate this. But that's where they're going with this. It's your fault because you were fucking somebody that you weren't married to. Okay. Let's go on. Let's see this out.
Phlox asks if this means that there isn't any research, and they say none that we care to disseminate. Dude, these three guys are the biggest Vulcan dicks you can imagine.
Vulcans suck so much in this series.
So, T'Pol asks why the hell they traveled all the way up from the surface just to tell Phlox no. And Arat ignores her and asks to be shown to the airlock, which I'm pretty sure T'Pol would happily do right now, only not to the one with a ship attached to it. She sees them out and she looks furious for T'Pol. She's got furious T'Pol face, which is, a slightly different face. She's so good. The doctor looks disappointed and worried. In the next scene, we see a device with some blinking lights, which is scanning a pad. The Vulcan doctors are reading the results and say that it's definitive that she's suffering from the syndrome. Those motherfuckers used her DNA or whatever from holding the pad to perform a medical test on her.
What
Shit
assholes?
heads.
Oh my God, I can't believe they're without her consent, testing her for this disease. Oh my God, I'm so angry. I'm so angry.
I stand by my statement that this series is actually about the mirror universe, Terran Star Empire. But they were justified. Every other race is an asshole. We need to...
But it's okay, guys, because when we come back from the commercial, we're back at Golden Retriever training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And Feasel is still showing Trip how the microscope works.
See, this is why we need B-plots. The other one, the one that this was a sequel for, also had that B-plot, and the B-plot was lovely, because it helps to have, a B-plot that's kind of fun when you have an episode that's about things that make you angry.
Please tell me that Trip is looking into the microscope and Feasel is standing behind him. No, like this. And she's standing right behind him, making minor adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, reaches her arms around his to help.
It's not quite that level, but it's almost, right?
She's holding his hand and moving his fingers.
She's showing him how he can zoom in and enhance down to the atomic level.
Yeah, boy.
She hands him the little controller and tells him to try, and he starts going through the steps with her.
She hands him the little controller and tells him to try.
And so he's going through all the steps. Okay, first I do this, now I do this, and she's encouraging them. And at one point, he says, "This is a bitch!" And she says, "Excuse me?" And he has to go.
Wait, he uses the word bitch?
Mm-hmm. He said, "This is a bitch," because he was trying to control the thing or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't know if I've heard that word in Star Trek before. That's interesting.
Trip, I believe in the Ferengi episode, Trip fake angry called Archer a son of a bitch for trying to sell his wife. But yeah,
I feel like somebody said son of a bitch, but not this is a bitch like that.
Feels different than just the word bitch somehow to me. Yeah, this feels very Ghost with Patrick Swayze. They're making their ceramics or whatever.
Well, Trip clarifies that he didn't mean her, just the microscope. While all of this has been going on, Phlox has been working at a console directly behind them, with his back to them.
Okay.
And he turns around and asks if Vasina has forgiven Groznik yet. And Phlox and Feasel just start spilling tea about all the people in their polycule.
Oh, hell yeah, polycule drama. I want all the polycule goss.
Great.
I want all of it.
That is the wildest part, is hearing people talk about people you don't know.
Are you kidding? I want all the polycule gossip about Phlox's family. I want to hear it. Maria, give it to me.
You're gonna love it. I actually have not gone into detail. You will enjoy it on your own, though. But it's things like, has she forgiven him yet? Of course not. It's gonna be at least another year.
So, spoiler alert for our second Contact episode, Jamie is going to have a giant flow chart.
I need the murder board.
An org chart of likes, does not like, did this to this.
Because I'm sorry, there's so much gossip happening. Like, there's so much good drama happening in that family.
The real Housewives of Denobia.
Okay. So while they are gossiping about the polycule, Trip is having a hard time getting the microscope to work. He keeps forgetting steps. So Feasel explains the next steps to him.
How complicated can this microscope be?
It's super complicated. Like, just assume this is the most complicated thing. It is insane how long it takes for them to get this thing just set up.
Oh, shit. Is this a scam that Phlox and his wife run?
Feasel explains the next steps to Trip, and she puts her hand on his shoulder fondly, reassuring him that he'll get it. Trip looks panicky and looks back at Phlox, who has his back turned again and is still babbling about one of the wives or husbands or whatever. He reminisces about someone Feasel mentioned who is not in their polycule, but who he had planned to ask to be his second wife, but she already had 3 husbands.
Interesting.
Feasel
Are these synovial polycules? Can you only have 3? Like, all
you can only have 3 husbands. That's it.
Can have 3 wives, and all the wives can have 3 husbands.
Well,
and then you're done.
All 3. Then you're done. That is it. That does appear to be the situation.
Well, cultural norms, and also like there are genetic concerns.
So Feasel still has her hand on Trip's shoulder, but Phlox doesn't even really seem to notice. The comm beeps, and Archer asks Phlox to come to his ready room. He sounds pissed, but Phlox doesn't pick up on it. Trip is not happy that Phlox is leaving. He looks back at Feasel, who at this point is just openly leering at him.
God damn it, Archer, you're messing this whole thing up.
In the next scene, Phlox enters Archer's ready room to find T'Pol already there. Archer says he wanted to see them both because it's been a while since he was embarrassed by a Vulcan dignitary. Phlox and T'Pol try to play dumb, but Archer explains that they ran tests off of the fingerprints that she left on the pad and confirmed that she had this disease.
Whoa, wait. Not only did the Vulcans do this, secretly test her against her consent, they then sent the results to Archer? My God. I am sorry. I am I'm so mad. I'm so angry.
Incandescently angry is how I describe. I'm so angry. But Archer, because it's all about Archer, is mad that neither of them told him.
What?
Yeah.
None of your fucking business. Oh my God.
Phlox says he's known about it for about a year, but didn't tell him because, HIPPA or whatever.
Just because you are captain of the ship doesn't mean that you get access to every single member of your crew's health records. I can understand if it's going to affect their job
if this is a communicable disease.
And maybe it will get there, but it seemed like they at least up to this point have been able to manage it. Obviously, it sounds like now maybe it's getting to the point where soon they won't be able to, then they will have to tell him. But if your crew, this does not concern you. It does not concern you at all.
I agree with you 100%. I will say that this appears to be a disease that impacts your neurological functions. And if her neurological functions are failing and they are on a long-term expedition, the sooner that he knows about that and can make arrangements, that I kind of get. That's the only thing I get. Doctor. But it is Phlox's call. I agree.
Phlox has decided that they're not there yet.
This situation is fucked.
And T'Pol also explains that the disease is not contagious and that there was nothing Archer could do. Archer wants to know why they lied to the Vulcans. And T'Pol basically explains the situation in excruciating, hit you over the head with the AIDS crisis detail. Like, if they found out, she would lose her commission, not because of the disease, but because of the people who can transmit it.
Right.
There is a small minority of Vulcans who are born with the ability to perform a very intimate method of telepathy, a mind meld. And things start to fall into place for Archer.
I just want to take a step back. Again, this is one of these moments, as we've talked about, like with the Night in Sick Bay and other episodes, where the show knows this is wrong, but we don't like how the characters are like the show is trying to give us a message like this is not right. They should not be doing this.
Okay, but this is a show that is literally afraid of gay people.
Exactly.
Trying to give us a lesson about the HIV/AIDS crisis.
Yep. Toss and TNG would have handled this so much better, but the show is making this point. But the characters are not equipped to deal.
They have an all hetero polycule that they are in this episode because this show can't admit that gay people even exist, and yet they're like, oh, but we care so much about gay people all of a sudden when we're talking about HIV/AIDS. I just don't trust Berman and Braga with this, and I don't feel like this is a show that should be doing this. If they can't even admit gay people exist.
Well, Jamie, if you don't like the way that they talk about this in this scene, don't worry. They're going to talk about it again and again and again.
Great.
And you'll have lots of opportunities. So things start to fall into place for Archer, and he remembers his dear friends, the Bro Vulcans from Fusion in season 1.
Oh yeah, it was called Fusion because it was like
could have
jazz.
Locked me in a closet for a year, and I would not have remembered that the name of that episode was Fusion.
I remember episodes by our names for the episodes, not from the actual episode
Or
names.
not even from even our Enterprise Planning episode's name, just from the names we call them, like Cocaine Cave. T'Pol confirms that the Bro Vulcans were part of that.
Sorry.
Say again?
Jizz Monster.
Oh, like Jizz
just
Monster.
had to bring
exactly.
up Jizz Monster.
Scott Bukakula.
Stop. All right. T'Pol confirms that they were part
This show
of
is really disrespectful to alternate sexualities. For example, the episode Scott Bukakula.
Okay, guys, we got to get through this. I got so much still to go. There is so much still to go.
We haven't even gotten to the theme song yet.
Okay. T'Pol confirms that the Bro Vulcans were part of the minority, and part of why they left was to escape prejudice, because Vulcans consider their behavior unnatural and they are seen as a threat.
Yeah.
T'Pol is not, however, a member of that minority. She got the disease because Bro Vulcan mind raped her.
Mm-hmm.
Archer finally figures it out. He says that since she was attacked and it was not with consent, the High Command will surely understand. T'Pol says she has no intention of telling the High Command shit. She says she has her reasons. She's not going to say that she was forced.
No.
I hate using those Bro Vulcans too as like a metaphor for gay men.
Well, they're
like especially because they like mind raped her. I hate this. I hate everything about this.
Archer asks Phlox how serious it is, and Phlox says it's pretty bad. Archer tells him that because they lied about all of this, regardless of what their reasons were, the Vulcans have made sure that Phlox is banned from the conference, because of course they have.
Wait, how? What?
Because they're the Vulcans, man. They're just fucking.
There's only 3 Vulcans at this whole conference.
But I'm assuming the Vulcans, they're the big science bros, right? So they probably have a lot of sway.
So Phlox has to sneak in, and he finds Jen Simonson, and he takes her badge and pins it onto his.
Yeah.
Apparently, like Faisal could still go to the conference, assuming that.
Faisal is way too busy trying to get into Trip's pants to deal with any of this nonsense. But Archer says that his priority is T'Pol's health, and if the Vulcans have information that can help her, he's going to get it.
Nice.
Archer takes a shuttle pod down to the surface and goes to meet with the Vulcans. They keep him waiting for a while. But 2 of the 3 doctors finally come out. The other 2 Vulcans, not the main Ghostbusters guy, the other 2, and their names are Eurus and Strom. Okay. A rat is not with them.
Oh, I have a thought in my head. Let's continue.
Wait, no, I want to hear it. What's your thought?
One of them has it. One of them has the disease.
That's a good prediction.
That would be a good twist for this series, but as we've discussed before, good twist for this series never happened. Let's continue.
Okay. Archer tries to explain why T'Pol and Phlox lied to them. He says that Phlox was trying to protect T'Pol's privacy, and he doesn't understand why they won't share research which could help her. Mm-hmm. Strom explains that the syndrome is transmitted through an undesirable intimate act. He says that Vulcans are very proud of their ability to control their emotions. Sharing them is gross and icky, and they don't want anything to do with it. It's basically what he said.
Yeah.
While he is saying all of this, Bill, the other doctor, Eurus, is standing behind him, watching him, not Archer, and not saying anything. Archer asks if they can at least keep the information about T'Pol to themselves and not tell the High Council. And Strom says he is absolutely going to tell the High Council.
Boo.
It doesn't matter that T'Pol isn't a member of this minority. They know this because they scanned her. But since there is only one way to contract this syndrome, and that is through a mind meld, she has done the act and it is unacceptable.
Oh my God.
There we go.
He leaves, and the other doctor, Eurus, kind of looks meaningfully at Archer and then follows him. In the next scene, T'Pol is meditating in her quarters when Hoshi comes in to tell her that there's a message.
Yeah.
Hoshi comes in, but just on the comm.
Oh, that's
comes in to tell her that there's a message for her from the surface. She reads it and immediately goes to the captain's ready room, where Archer, who's just gotten back, tells her that he had no luck with getting the information and that he's pretty sure they're going to tell the high command. T'Pol tells him that she just got a message from Dr. Eurus, who is the youngest of the 3, asking her to meet him in secret.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. He secretly has this disease.
Archer is skeptical, but T'Pol is like, I'm going to go. So she goes down and meets Eurus, who gives her a small case with, I guess, memory cards in it. I don't know, crystals, whatever they use.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the research. And T'Pol asks him why he's doing this and risking his career to help someone he despises. And he says the intolerance has to stop. He says that if he despised her, he'd be despising himself. Gasp! Oh, wow, y'all, Eurus is gay. I mean, he's part of the mind-melding minority.
Oh my
and
God.
that stunner required a commercial break.
Wait, wasn't there a thing about Travis throwing a melon over a space cow? Is that the line? I really hope that's the final scene of this episode.
When we come back from commercial, Eurus tells T'Pol that if asked, he will not condone her behavior. He knows that she isn't part of the minority, but in the Vulcans' eyes, anyone who chooses to participate in a mind meld may as well be. T'Pol asks, what if she didn't choose? Right. And Eurus is shocked. He says that if she was coerced, she needs to tell them right away, and they will be far more sympathetic. And T'Pol asks him not to share that with them. She does not want them to know. And she thanks him for the information and she leaves. Hoshi and Trip are in the mess hall eating. Hoshi is confused because they're having a movie night and there's a whole planet down there for people to explore. Trip is excited because they're showing The Black Cat with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi.
Oh, good movie.
Oh, okay. Another classic.
Yeah, and Hoshi actually asks, who is picking these things? It's you, isn't it? And it's it seems like it's Trip.
No, it can't be Trip.
Oh, I thought you meant me, literally. It's oh yeah, that'd be a good movie.
Oh, it's Bill. Bill is picking these things. Hoshi actually says, Bill Statler is picking these movies. It's weird.
After Archer shuts down the holodeck, it's me shutting down the holodeck. Well.
It can't be Trip because back in the catwalk, Trip was like, this is a bad movie. And so it's definitely not Trip. I think it's Archer. No. It must be Archer.
Archer would not be showing them For Whom the Bell Tolls. They would be watching water polo finals for the entire fucking...
That's true.
That is true.
Is there a water polo movie? Is there a sports water polo movie?
That's a great question,
right?
Well,
we should look that up.
Right.
Okay.
It would be bad because water polo, you can't see anything below the water.
Anyway, Hoshi and Trip are chit-chatting and eating when Feasel walks into the mess hall and she goes to get something to eat. Trip immediately looks nervous, and when Hoshi gets up to leave, he asks her to stay. But Hoshi's planning to get a shuttle to the surface. Feasel, meanwhile, has picked out her food as beelining for Trip, and he again asks Hoshi to stay. And she says, okay, fine, I'll stay for a few minutes, but I have to leave soon. Feasel walks up and asks if she can join them, and Hoshi says, of course, and introduces herself. She and Feasel chat about the fact that Phlox is teaching Hoshi Denobulin, and they actually have a brief conversation in Denobulin.
Oh, fun.
During which Trip panics because he thinks they're talking about him.
Oh, come on.
Well, they almost certainly are. How you doing with Trip? Well, let me tell you about it.
Hoshi gives him shit and says that they were, but they were literally discussing transitive verbs. Like, it was not at all about him. Meanwhile, Feasel has taken her shoe off and is playing serious footsie, like legsy. She's rubbing her stockinged foot up and down his Trip's calf.
Do we see the foot?
She's got a stocking on, but yes.
Okay, thank God.
So
we don't
she
see her
doesn't have-
actual foot.
She doesn't have the fucked up, super long, weird toenails that.
No, it looks like a
She cut them
normal.
this morning.
Yeah, it's a normal human foot. Trip is still looking uncomfortable, but also
Use
kind
your
of
words, Trip. If this person keeps making him feel uncomfortable, like, she might not understand, like, he's trying to sort of signal that he's uncomfortable, but she's an alien. She may not understand those signals.
Well,
use your words.
These are the two parts of Trip's brain that are conflicting with each other. One is the Golden Labrador himbo part, and the other is the, this is my coworker's wife, and they are. It's the constant battle that exists within. There are two wolves within each of us.
One wants to fuck Feasel.
And the other one knows that Phlox almost cut into Travis's brain.
So, Trip, it's exactly what you said. He's looking uncomfortable, but he's also a little bit pleased at the attention. But he finally comes out and tells her that while he's very flattered, she's a married woman. Feasel said that she's a woman, and that's all that matters.
Well,
this is the perfect opportunity for Trip to explain that it matters to him, even if it doesn't matter to her. But he doesn't. He just makes an excuse
or
and he
to just,
leaves.
like, ask what the deal is with, like, her relationship with her three husbands.
Yeah, none of that nuance happens, but at least he actually says, look, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and he makes an excuse and he leaves. It's a terrible excuse, by the way. He says he has to write a synopsis of the movie for tonight. Like, Trip's writing Enterprise-splaining scripts here or something.
Wait, so Trip is not choosing the movies, but yet he's the one who writes the synopsis to, like, tell.
I don't know.
Also, I feel like synopses
he's-
exist. Like, if you just need a 2 sentences about the movie, presumably
Just
that
fucking go to
exists.
IMDb. Does
I can just
IMDb
Google
not
it
exist?
right now.
Trip is in the AV club, and he takes pride. Like, it's like an artisanal. It's like the guy who writes the menu on the restaurant. He's like, that's his job. Also, Trip is looking for an out.
Yeah, he is looking for an out. Feasel invites herself along to the movie, but Trip says she wouldn't appreciate it because only humans really understand horror movies.
What?
He says he'll see her in the morning, and he, like, almost runs away.
Well, that was a vibe that Phlox was fucking talking during the movie and, like, not paying attention to it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, that is true. I'd forgotten about that. Trip goes to the gym where he and Malcolm...
Oh, no! He does 2 reps, and then he moves on. He does 30 seconds on the running board.
It's called a treadmill, Bill.
No, Trip and Malcolm discuss the situation in a completely adult and reasonable way. No, I'm kidding. Malcolm gives him a whole bunch of shit, saying that he thinks Feasel is hot, and Trip goes, well, what if Phlox finds out?
Are they working out while doing this?
I'm sorry. Trip goes to Malcolm for sex advice.
Doesn't really. Malcolm's on the bike, stationary bike, and Trip walks up and is like, she's at it again. So they've been talking about it.
Oh boy.
Malcolm then asks Trip if he has led her on. Like, what was he wearing after all? He doesn't say that, but that's basically. Trip says no, and he considers talking to the doctor. But of course, Malcolm says that's a bad idea.
Why?
Because he's Malcolm.
Because it's the 2000s. Polyamory was... I'm frankly amazed that this show
is covering this.
Polygamy
in this way.
and talked about this at all. Yeah.
Trip is worried because he has to work with Feasel for 2 more days. Malcolm says it's better to try to avoid her than to make Phlox angry. He says he once saw Phlox lose his temper when one of his creatures bit him, and it was not a pretty sight.
I don't believe that. Like, when have we seen...
I think, honestly, you guys will tell me when you see this, but it really feels like Malcolm is not at all taking this seriously and is honestly kind of fucking with him there. Like, oh, I've seen, you don't want to make Phlox mad. He'll like, and as opposed to like giving him, you know, decent, normal advice, he's just kind of playing. That's sort of how I read it, but I could be wrong on that.
Right. I wouldn't want Phlox angry at me.
No, but like, I don't believe that Phlox got his, like, one of his animals bit him and he got angry at it. That doesn't sound like Phlox at all.
Yeah, this is a Malcolm problem. Don't ever go to Malcolm for advice. Because remember...
You know who I need to talk to about relationship advice?
And as Bill has said, Malcolm is a messy bitch who lives for drama. So whatever advice he gives you is going to be to increase the drama, not reduce it in any way.
I can't even remember the circumstances under which I said this, and I'm so glad that it has become the sticky note of this series.
It's a perfect description. Back in Medbay, Phlox is explaining to T'Pol that he's figured out a treatment that will help slow the progress, but not cure it. He is surprised at how little progress the Vulcans have made, and T'Pol reminds him that the Vulcans are not at all motivated to develop a cure. Phlox says that with this research, he should be able to make way more progress than the Vulcans have.
However, this would cause their race to not develop as quickly as possible, so I'm going to withhold the research.
Let them all go into the sun. Archer walks in and asks how useful it all was. Phlox says it's very useful. He thinks he will eventually be able to develop a treatment before T'Pol's symptoms get worse. Archer asks if she knows why Euros gave her the research. And T'Pol looks a little shifty and says she doesn't know. Again, lying liar who lies. Archer looks pissy.
In this case, she's lying to protect someone's privacy, which is a good reason to lie.
Agreed.
Right.
For once, they're lying about something that is good to lie about.
That's correct. Archer looks pissy. He has spoken to the Vulcans, and they have decided to recall T'Pol. They're going to take her back to Vulcan when the conference is over. They haven't yet notified High Command, but they are planning to as soon as they get to Vulcan.
But they're just like random doctors.
No, Orat is like the head medical guy. There is a line about how he has the right to do this for whatever reason.
A, the Vulcans are assholes, and B, she is a vector. So, okay.
Well, but only if she mind melds with someone.
But she's not a vector, though, because she can't give it to anybody else.
Oh, she can't do the
She doesn't have the ability to mind meld.
Oh, that's an interesting...
Oh, I didn't realize she couldn't mind meld.
Well, I guess from other Trek, I assume any Vulcan can mind meld.
Yeah, that's what I always thought, too. But according to this, it's only a small minority of Vulcans who have the ability to mind meld.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's weird.
So... Archer once again asks T'Pol to tell them that the mind meld was not consensual. And once again, T'Pol refuses. So just to explain that a little bit, T'Pol cannot initiate a mind meld, but a melder can initiate a mind meld with any Vulcan, consensually or not.
I mean, we've seen them do it with like humans.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So T'Pol has had this mind meld forced on her, but the Vulcan doctors think that she was just experimenting and wanted to see what that was like, and that's why she did it, which is why that's unacceptable behavior.
Also, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares?
Yeah. So T'Pol continues to refuse to tell them that this was
none
not
of your fucking business.
Exactly. That's exactly her
Yeah,
point.
because it's none of their business.
Again, in fairness to this episode seems to recognize that.
That's actually absolutely right.
From an episode by creators who don't like gay people. But okay.
This episode recognizes the unfairness of this.
So Phlox actually agrees with Archer, but T'Pol says that if she tells them, she'd be condoning their prejudice and in the process indicting every member of the minority. She says she won't do it, and she walks away. Archer looks upset. He goes back to the planet to talk to Arat. He wanders around and people tell him he's not available, whatever. He finally finds him in a lab and he bangs on there's a glass wall and he just bangs on the wall and yells that he needs to talk to him. Arat looks pissy, but he comes out and Archer tells him he has no right to take his science officer away. Arat says he has every right and that T'Pol should be ready to leave in 36 hours. They argue and eventually Archer tells them that Hoshi looked at the Vulcan database and found the protocols for the Council of Physicians. It says that anyone accused of ethical misconduct is entitled to a hearing before the ranking medical officer in the province or territory where the accusation is made. That would be Arat. Arat says it's not an accusation, it's a fact and not up for debate. And Archer says everything is up for debate.
Oh, well, I like that line.
He's having none of it.
That's a good line. I have a ship with phase cannons. Guess what? Shit is up for debate.
Archer insists on a hearing, and Arat finally agrees to have the hearing the next day. But he's like, I'm not delaying anything. We're going to do it in 24 hours. It's been a while since we've seen Travis shirtless. So, in the next scene, we get a close-up of Travis's abs.
Yes! Yes.
Yeah.
They're a little bruised.
Shirtless?
No, he's in sick bay and he's pulling his shirt up and he's showing Phlox some bruising. He was playing a sport with some locals on a planet.
Fuck yeah.
He tells Phlox that they have these animals called Fargans that look like cows with humps. And Fargans love melons. So
I remembered that halfway through this episode. I was like, am I hallucinating? Did I?
So 4 guys get into a big circle filled with Fargans and throw melons back and forth using sticks with metal baskets on the end. Apparently every non-water sport in the universe is basically lacrosse.
Amazing.
Anyway,
I want an animated series that is just what Travis is doing in every episode. I want the Travis Chronicles of Enterprise.
So I have a cultural question because
oh my God.
Travis asks Phlox if he's ever played Monkey in the Middle, which I guess, when I was growing up, we always called it Piggy in the Middle. But is that an American thing?
No, we definitely called it Monkey in the Middle.
Yeah, no, Monkey in the Middle
Interesting.
is
okay, anyway.
Midwestern American thing.
I'm from California.
So it sounds like it might be an American versus UK thing. Anyway, so it's basically Monkey in the Middle with the Fargans. And Travis is all excited about this. He's explaining this when Trip walks in and asks to talk to Phlox alone. So
kind of feels rude to the space cow.
I know it is. It's not exact. It doesn't seem like the kindest stuff.
But presumably they feed them at the end.
You're
they give them the melons at the end.
You're lonely farm folk. You need some entertainment.
So Phlox finishes up with Travis, who leaves. Trip is clearly uncomfortable, but he says he thinks this is the right thing to do despite Malcolm's warnings. He tells Phlox that while Feasel is a lovely, smart woman, and that he has been a perfect gentleman, she is trying to make advances.
Wait.
Yeah, does he actually use that term again?
What term?
He says a perfect gentleman?
Yes. He says he's been a perfect gentleman.
It's back again.
Okay. But she's trying to make advances, and Phlox looks delighted. And he says, sexual advances? Like he's all like... Trip says yes, and Phlox is even more delighted. He asks if she's offered to give Trip a rose petal bath.
What?
He says that
Rose petal bath. Okay.
he says that any man
boy.
would be a fool to deny the advances of a healthy denobulin woman.
Oh, God. I love this.
He's surprised at Tripp's reaction and asks if Tripp doesn't find her attractive. And Tripp says, sure, but she's Phlox's wife. Phlox says he's too hung up on
Oh my God, Phlox.
human morality.
What about this do you not understand?
And tells him that he thought Tripp wanted to learn about different cultures. But
Jamie, it's 2001.
Yeah, no, I know, but the Tripp. I mean, but at this point, like, you know about Phlox's family, and you see Phlox's reaction.
Again, I'm frankly amazed this show introduced this concept.
Yeah, I do love it. I do love that they're, like, bringing in some poly families. I do love
yeah,
that.
and that
Tripp.
But Tripp says that he was brought up to believe not to mess around with another man's wife, and he can't change that. Mm-hmm. And Phlox sort of shrugs and says, your loss, and walks away. And that's fine. Well, I mean, Tripp has set his boundaries.
That's cool.
I actually think that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, this is who I am. This is what I want. I may be attracted to her, but I'm not going to be okay with that. So that's okay.
It's just like TNG was more sexually progressive than this. And that was 10 years earlier.
Anyway. Respect Tripp's boundaries. Yeah. I will fuck a 20-year-old girl who has never met another actual human being in her entire life, but not a consenting mother, adult woman.
Or some lady who was just asleep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Who had never dated anybody. Yeah, I mean, I think that Tripp was he seemed like he was happy about the attention, but not necessarily
I like
into
that,
her.
But he's not being like, ew, it's gross.
Yeah, he was happy to have the attention. Wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm all into, like, if I could, I would. But I think he's just like, okay, this seems nice, but, he was just, I
mean, even with, like, poly stuff, it could just be like, you're my friend's wife. Like, not just like, you have a husband, like, he doesn't care, but, like, it's weird to be with, like, somebody you know's partner. I get why that can be weird or awkward and uncomfortable.
You're going to be gone in 24 hours, and I'm going to be on a mission with this guy for 4 years.
Right. Exactly. Archer goes to see T'Pol, who is in her quarters packing. He tells her about the hearing, but T'Pol says she has no interest in challenging their decision.
Okay. I was going to say earlier, like, when Archer was pushing for this, I was like, does T'Pol want a hearing? It sounds like she doesn't, because everything we've seen up till now, she does not want to talk about it. She does not want to talk about the circumstances around it with them. And presumably a hearing, she would have to talk about exactly what happened.
I mean, so initially she says they're never going to give you the hearing, and he's all like, they already did. And she's not going to challenge their decision. She's not going to tell them that she was forced. Archer tells her that if she's not going to defend herself, she should speak for the minority that she's trying to protect. He tells her that if she is silent, she is condoning their opinions.
Okay, but that's still, like, her choice.
Right, and
as the person who was harmed in this situation, who is, like, the victim, it is wonderful if she wants to speak out about it, but that is her choice, and she can just choose
But
not
I think
to.
what he is saying is she can speak. She doesn't have to tell them that, but she can speak to why she thinks it's wrong that they're doing this.
She could, but she doesn't. It's not her. Okay.
But she doesn't want to. She also doesn't want to leave Enterprise, right? So, like, she now has the opportunity. So T'Pol reiterates that she's not going to tell them how she got the disease, and Archer agrees and promises not to give it up. We go directly to the hearing, where Arat is saying that the fact that she has Panar syndrome is not the issue. It's the way that she got it. And Archer asks how they can condemn someone for one mind meld over a year ago. And Arat reiterates that mind melds are practiced by a subculture, Vulcans who have chosen to conduct themselves in an unacceptable manner. Eurus is sitting right next to him and looking at him as he says this. And Archer's about to reply, but T'Pol chimes in and says they've not elected to do anything. They are born with this ability. Strom says they are genetic aberrations who prey on people like her who are foolish enough to experiment with abhorrent behavior. And Eurus starts to look real mad. And then Archer starts to rant. He says, for years he's heard that humans are too volatile and too narrow-minded and too irrational from every Vulcan he's met. He says that the humans don't hold a candle to the Vulcans when it comes to narrow-mindedness. He talks about how humans eradicated bigotry a century ago and how important diversity is, and how if they want to call themselves enlightened, they have to accept people who are different than they are.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Except, on a starship when you could really only have 2 people of color on the main crew. But diversity's important, guys.
Yeah. Oh, there's 30%, almost 30% women. So obviously they clearly care about diversity so much.
Strom says this is pointless and that there are rules. And T'Pol says there are no rules telling them to oppress minorities. Strom says that T'Pol would rather they be allowed to spread their infections, and that's exactly why she's being recalled. And T'Pol says she's being recalled because they can't deal with anything that doesn't conform to their idea of acceptable behavior. Strom says that she doesn't know what she's talking about. He calls to end the inquiry when Eurus speaks up. He says she knows exactly what she's talking about, and says there is nothing abhorrent about the way we live our lives. We, say the other 2 Vulcans, looking shocked. Eurus says there's no fixed definition for intimacy, and that those of them who are capable of mind melds are no different than they are. Arat warns him that he's jeopardizing his career and his reputation, but Eurus is on a roll. He says that they share their thoughts differently and they shouldn't be punished for that.
Are we at the end of this episode yet?
We're close. We're getting there. Arat says the High Command will determine whether or not they should be punished, both of them. He and Strom get up to leave, and Eurus tells them that T'Pol is not guilty of anything, that she was violated. T'Pol is pissed.
Yeah. That is not your place. She confided in you.
She tells Eurus that he gave his word, but Eurus isn't going to stop. He tells them that the mind meld was performed against her will. And Arat asks if she can verify that, and T'Pol asks why, so you can perpetuate your double standard?
Wait, is that actually a quote?
Yep. Why? So you can perpetuate your double standard?
Okay.
It's pretty great. Arat asks Archer what he knows about the situation, and Archer says, it seems my science officer does not want to discuss it, and that's good enough for me. Holy
Thank
shit,
you, Archer.
A rare appropriate comment from Archer.
I love how we're all like shocked.
Yeah, we're shocked that he did the right thing. Eurus says she told him herself and made him promise to stay silent. He apologizes to T'Pol, but says he had to tell the truth and she should do the same. T'Pol maintains she has nothing to say. In the next scene, Trips and Phlox are looking at and discussing the new, now set up microscope when Feasel walks in. Phlox and Feasel do the smelly thing again, and Phlox says he hopes it isn't another 4 years before they see each other, and she agrees, but she reminds him that his other wives miss him too. Phlox says that Trip has assured him that he'll keep her microscope in perfect running order. Feasel says she hopes he'll keep Trip in perfect running order because that will motivate her to visit more often.
Yeah, boy!
Trip looks awkward, and it's only going to get worse. Phlox says it's a shame that Feasel and Trip didn't get to know each other a little better. And Trip says he has to get back to his warp engine because the plasma's running a little hot, and Feasel says she knows how it feels. Trip politely but quickly leaves, and Phlox and Feasel giggle over humans.
Nice.
Final scene.
Thank God.
T'Pol and Archer in his ready room. Archer tells her that Eurus has been suspended. He refused a hearing, and Arat says he'll lose his standing with the medical exchange. The only good thing that came out of this was that they believed him about T'Pol being forced, and she isn't going to be recalled. T'Pol requests permission to contact the High Command. She doesn't want Eurus to be dismissed without a fight, and Archer agrees. Archer says he understands that she's upset that Eurus broke his promise, but selfishly, he's glad he did because he didn't want to lose her. T'Pol says she hopes this incident will encourage others to speak out. Archer agrees, and end of episode.
Oh my God, thank God. I just want to say, and I know we'll talk more about this next week, but I need to get this off my chest. The thing I'm mad about is not that they're using sci-fi metaphors to talk about like a serious issue in our world. Like, I'm not mad that they are creating metaphors for like gay people and HIV AIDS crisis. What I'm mad is that this show, a show that at best pretends like gay people do not exist, and at worst is actively hostile to queer people. This is a show that suddenly wants to come out and be like, people should stop, like, I'm so mad about it. Anyways, we'll talk about it in the second contact after I've seen it. But it just feels so hypocritical of this show that truly cannot wrap its mind around any queerness anywhere. And that it's all of a sudden like now they care about what gay men have to go through. Like, I just don't. No.
Yeah, look, we had heard a little bit about this ahead of time. We knew that it was related to fusion, which we all fucking hated. But to be honest, like I said, this wasn't as bad as I feared it would be. A big part of that was because of the B plot, which lightened it up a little. And yes, it was extremely heavy-handed. And yes, they made the same points over and over again. But and
that I don't mind so much.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the fact that this show that is hostile to queer people.
I will say, I don't think this show is hostile towards queer people. I think this show is oblivious. I think the show has never once in its entire life thought that queer people existed, which is a problem, obviously.
The scene, just that scene in 2 Days and 2 Nights in the bar when they're
it's gross.
Talking about, how disgusting it would be if one of those ladies was actually a man. I just hate it. Well, let me watch the episode and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, it was extremely heavy-handed, but it did feel like it was in the tradition of some of the other Star Treks, trying to sort of put a mirror up to society and not always working. Star Trek has a long tradition of trying to do that, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I hated it a lot less than like Detained or Desert Crossing, both of which had that same, I am trying to make a point about a thing. But I think a big part of that was T'Pol and Phlox were so heavily featured in this. And they're both really strong actors. And because they're aliens, we have a perspective that is not human. Also, like I said, the B plot made a huge difference because they really did balance it out with this Trip and Feasel storyline.
I'm like actually kind of excited to see it. Like it sounds like it's actually putting the context of the show aside. This sounds like actually kind of an interesting episode. I just think in the context of what we know about the show and about Berman and Braga and the things they've done in the past, that's where I just get like why do you think it's okay for you to be?
I agree.
Why do you think that you are the right messenger for
And
this?
I think you're right, but I think if you look at it, and that's sort of the way that I think that was part of what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking of it as a Star Trek episode. And yes, the context of, I 100% agree. Like, these guys had no right talking about any of this shit because they don't know any of it. But it wasn't terrible. There was a lot of like, I have to say this same thing over and over to Archer, but you know.
Okay. Well, yeah, I am like kind of excited to watch. Like I'm not excited, but like
I think y'all will enjoy it, if nothing else, for the Trip storyline. The B plot storyline is quite fun.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
Quite fun.
I love Phlox and I love T'Pol and I love Trip, and there's a lot of all three of them in this. And we get to see Travis's abs. I'm very much looking forward to that.
So, 2 truths and a lie. Phlox did not get mad at Malcolm.
Wait,
my line was
one of the
Phlox gets into an altercation with Malcolm because Malcolm hits on Phlox's wife, was the lie. And originally I had written that as Trip, and then I was like, they'll never believe Trip. But y'all didn't believe Malcolm either. But I was like, I feel like Malcolm is more believable than if I had made that Trip.
Spoiler.
I agree.
Yeah, this was slightly spoiled for me, as I said before. I do Tumblr searches for images, and this, I will admit, I had an in on this this came up on Tumblr. So thank you, Tumblr, for saving me for that.
But so y'all were right about that. I had a feeling that the Travis space cow thing was too weird, but I couldn't not include it. Like, Travis throws melons over space cows. I couldn't not include it.
That was too weird.
I know.
That was too weird for you to make.
I know. Porthos good boy scale. How good of a boy was Porthos on this episode? 0 Porthos. But I do feel like Trip had major golden retriever vibe, if that helps at all.
Oh, yeah. How great would it be if Trip goes to Porthos? I don't understand what's going on. I think she's... It's like, what advice do you have?
That would have been a way better scene.
So much better. We should replace Malcolm with Porthos in every scene.
Yeah, this show would be so good. Except for when the thing went through his leg, because I don't want that to happen with Porthos. Sure.
Saucy section. How sexy was this episode on a scale from the Vidians infected with the phage in Voyager to Jadzia Dax in the original series uniform in Trials and Tribulations?
I think I brought that one up before.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah, Bill's done that one as a sexy, but we all agree that's the sexiest thing to happen on Star Trek.
Just saying.
Fine.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me again. You remind me every week of that.
I mean,
happy with that.
Fiesel really wanted it to be sexy, but there was a lot of awkward, and obviously the main storyline had nothing sexy about it at all.
When has this show ever tried to do sexy and had it not be awkward instead?
Right. Never asked, never answered for something in the episode that made no sense and was never explained. I'm gonna give this never asked, never answered, but I actually don't think it's a problem. I don't hate it at all. T'Pol she was vehemently against telling them that she'd been forced to mind meld. And I kept expecting T'Pol to explain that she had a brother or a sister or a friend who was of that minority, and that never happened. She just had her opinion because it was the right thing, and she didn't agree with the bigotry, which I thought was way stronger and honestly quite surprising for this show. I really was expecting, oh no, my best friend committed suicide because she was discriminated against because blah, blah, blah. But nope, none of that. Technical difficulties, the most technobabble thing from this episode. Y'all, everything to do with that microscope was so fucking complicated.
I'm so excited to see this space microscope.
And all of and it was just, dude, it was just a microscope. Like, what you see is just a somewhat large microscope. It was so complicated. And, I mean, it wasn't really clear what it was for. I mean, obviously, it was to look at very small things, but they had to do so much to set it up.
Why is it so complicated?
I don't know.
Don't you just, once it's set up, don't you just look in it? Like, I don't know.
You have to, like...
Does Faisal at one point say to Trip, it's for looking at very small things, but I like looking at very large things.
Almost. What the Phlox for the creepiest thing that Phlox said in this episode? Double Phlox this week, so double creepiness. To be fair, Phlox was extremely strong in this episode. He defended T'Pol, he kept her privacy, all of that. Mrs. Phlox was very creepy, culminating in her weird yellow stockinged footsie that she played with Trip. It was...
Oh, I'm into it. I'm down.
Yes, chef. Any mentions of chef or food? So there was a lot happening in the mess hall, but we didn't see a lot of actual food. When Archer and T'Pol were having breakfast, Paul was drinking her perplomic soup or whatever. I think that was all it was. And Archer, I think it seemed like he had like a eggs Benedict, but we just see it when he's bringing it to the table, and as soon as he puts it down, it's blocked by a giant jug of orange juice. It was disappointed.
Chef Dorothy probably spent so long making that eggs Benedict, and they're not even going to show it on camera. They're going to block it with some orange juice.
He does have the coolest and weirdest looking salt and pepper shakers. They looked like they were like spheres on the bottom of long metal wires. They were like metal spheres on the bottom of long sort of poles. And they were kind of hanging on these things. And then he like picked one up and like flicked, like it was incense almost, like flicked the salt over it. I don't know. It didn't seem the most practical, but it was cool looking.
I want them.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, how do I get that? That looks cool. Where is HR? Archer was
the whole episode.
Archer was really mad that neither T'Pol nor Phlox disclosed about her disease, which is certainly an issue of privacy. T'Pol's symptoms hadn't progressed to where she couldn't do her job, so I think it was probably okay, but I do understand a disease that we're not that familiar with and has neurological impact. I can understand the captain wanting to know that his science officer might be impaired.
But that doesn't mean you get to know. I want to know a lot of things too, and that doesn't necessarily mean I get to know.
Right. Marco, for mentions of water polo, no mentions of water polo, but I think Humpy Cow Melon Piggy in the middle should somehow count.
That's Archer's new thing.
We really never hear much about it. Travis gets cut off when he's talking about it when Trip comes in to tell Phlox's wife was hitting on him, so...
I'm so mad that, I mean, maybe they didn't, we just didn't notice, but I would love for Lower Decks to have shown.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I go back and watch. I'm sure there's a reference.
Wouldn't that be great? Okay. This is the segment of our show we like to call Willed Holorex, brought to you by Eric TM, where we each give our Rikermendations for non-Enterprise related content that we've been consuming in our holodecks this week. Jamie, what is your recommendation for today?
All right. Well, my recommendation today is due to a 10-year anniversary of one of the greatest pop albums of all time, Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. This album changed the way I listen to music. Like when this album came out in 2015, I was not somebody who listened to pop music. I loved music. I listened to a lot of music, but I mostly listened to sad girls with guitars, or I guess 2015, I was probably listening to like weird indie guys with guitars. I listened to a lot of guitar stuff. I was a kid of the 90s. I was in high school in the late 90s, early 2000s, when other people were listening to like Britney Spears, or even in the aughts, like Katy Perry. Like that's not what I was listening to. I was like off listening to like Arcade Fire or whatever. And I was just like, pop music, not for me. And then for some reason, probably because I'm like a weird pretentious music person that read Pitchfork religiously, they talked about this album and I was like, maybe I should just try listening to this. And I put on Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion and I was like, this is some of the best music I've ever heard in my life. This is so good. Why have I not been listening to pop music? And after that, I started seeking out more pop music, and like, it was like there was a block in my head where I was like, oh, this music's not good. And then I listened to this album and I realized, no, it's so good. So, my recommendation is Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion, a perfect pop album. We are celebrating the 10-year anniversary. I have been celebrating all year the 10-year anniversary of this album, and I strongly recommend to our listeners who maybe don't really know Carly Rae Jepsen other than Call Me Maybe, go listen to Emotion. It's truly it's so good. It's so good, and Carly Rae Jepsen's one of my favorite pop artists. So.
All right. Bill, what you got?
Well, you all know me.
Yeah,
you know that I'm down with what's hip, what's happening, what's now, what's on the cutting edge. Sure,
that's what I think of when I think of you.
So my recommendation is The Pirates of Penzance, which is a musical that is almost 150 years old. It came out in 1879. For whatever reason, I got the Major General song in my head, and I went on and I found the original cast recording from the 1982 play that was made into the 1983 movie. This fucking thing is a banger. It is an amazing piece of musical comedy. All of the songs are fantastic. If you listen to the 1983 movie, it's Kevin Kline, it's Linda Ronstadt. It is amazing. It's such a funny album. All the performances are great. It is well worth your time. So if you can watch the movie or just listen to the soundtrack, listen to any of the soundtracks. The songs are hilarious, and it's just one of those things that makes me think maybe we're going to be okay because the jokes still work. So, The Pirates of Penzance by Gilbert and Sullivan.
Okay.
There's also a great Crazy Ex-Girlfriend episode where the characters from that show sing a bunch of these songs, and I sometimes just listen to it because it's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my recommendation is for a movie from 2007 called The Magicians, not The Magicians TV series that went from 2005 to 2020, or the other Magicians movie that was out in, I think, 2000. But The Magicians, which came out in 2007 and is a British movie starring David Mitchell and Robert Webb. I had
Mitchell and Webb.
I had zero idea this existed until Stephen went down a Mitchell and Webb rabbit hole and found it, and we were like, let's check this out and see what it is. And it's super fun. It is the story of two magicians who, well, a tragedy happens that splits them apart. And then they have to come back together several years later and find a way to fix it. It's very funny. If you like Mitchell and Webb, which I adore, particularly David Mitchell is one of my favorite actors in the world, I think you'll enjoy it.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So The Magicians from 2007. And that is the episode. Thank you for listening. Next week, we will revisit this episode as a second contact and hear Bill and Jamie's thoughts once they've actually watched it.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Special thanks to K.O. Myers at Particulate Media for sound assistance, to our friend David for our beautiful cover art, and to John Stephen King for being the voice of our computer. If you like this show, please rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tell your friends about it. We really appreciate it. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook as Enterprise Splaining, and on Blue Sky at Enterprise Splain. You can also email us any comments or questions, such as, did Hoshi go down to the planet after all? And did she get laid again? To enterprisesplaining@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can find us at Buy Me a Coffee as Enterprise Splaining. And don't forget to check out our merch on the ESO Network TeePublic store. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
End program.
Phlox asks if that means there isn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, Maria finds this funny.
I'm just laughing for what's coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
That's what she said.
I'm sorry, you weren't laughing about HIV, Maria? You don't find AIDS? You think AIDS is funny?
It's hilarious.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.